Hello everyone and welcome to the Treehouse. I'm super excited to have you join us today because we're celebrating all things September. So going back to school, finishing up at some summer camps and trying some sports. We're going to be seeing a lot of people bake too. Some good cakes and some cupcakes. So let's go check it out. Hello everyone, I'm super excited to be signing with you today. Are you ready to sign? You are perfect. Now, because we are running into fall time, a lot of us are heading back to school. Are you heading back to school? You are? I'm super excited for you. Well, I bet you can guess already what our first sign today is going to be. It's going to be school. That's right. Now, this one is pretty easy because it involves something I think we all know how to do, which is to clap. Now we're going to need both our hands for this. And all we have to do is lay one hand flat and then clap twice. School. We're going to school. Do you think you can do that with me? Oh, I knew you could. I bet you're a pretty good clapper. Now we only have to clap twice for this one, okay? School. School. Very good. Now, I think we should do it one more time just to make sure we have the hang of it because our second sign also has the sign for school in it too. Okay, so let's do it one more time. Let's get both of our hands ready. And now, school. Very good. Now, are you ready for our second sign? I knew you would be. Okay, I already gave you a little bit of a hint, didn't I? That it would involve the word school. Now, I know when I went to school, I always took something on my way there, and that was a bus. Now, our second sign is going to be school bus. So we're going to take two signs and put them together. So we're going to have the first sign be, what do you think? School. Now, we have to now learn the sign for bus. Now, we're going to need both of our hands for this one, and we're going to make it the shape of a C for the letter C. And you see how this hand's gonna make C as well? Now bus, we start off together, where our two C's touch, and then we extend. We go forward. Think about when a bus moves, right? Maybe it's leaving the bus stop, and it's moving. So this is going to be bus. Now, we have to put our two signs together to make school bus. I'll show you what it's going to look like. So school, bus, school, bus. Do you think you can do that with me? I knew you could. All right, let's get our hands ready. School, bus. Do you think you can do it one more time? All right, here we go. School, bus. Very good. School, bus. Now that we have our school and our school bus, I think we're missing a couple more things. I know when I go to school, how am I going to learn? Someone's probably going to teach me, right? We need to learn the sign for teacher. All right, so for this sign, we're also going to need both of our hands. And they're going to come together like this, as if we're making a little beak. So we're going to have both of our hands right here and move up to our head. Because when we're at school, we learn, right? So everything we know is in our head. But when a teacher teaches us, they're sharing what they know with us. So we get to move our hands from our head outwards because they're sharing their information with us. This is actually the sign for teach. Now we have to do teacher. So we move our hands from our head and then we go down for person. So teacher. Do you think you can sign teacher with me? All right, here we go. Let's make our little bills and make our beaks, right? Now we're going to have our hands go up to our head, come out, and go down flat. Teacher. Very good. Now, do you think you can do it one more time before we move on to our fourth sign? All right, here we go. Both our hands at our forehead, move them out and down. Teacher. Now that we've met our teacher, I know when I went to school, I really liked to meet new friends. Now with this sign, I bet you can already tell we're gonna need what? Both of our hands again. Now we only need one finger on both of our hands for this sign. And what they're going to do is they're going to cross. Think about when you meet a friend, you might hold their hand or give them a hug or be really close with them, right? You're joined maybe at the hip. So we're gonna be joining both of our fingers together and go back and forth. And this is the sign for friend. Do you think you can sign that with me? I knew you could, so both of our fingers up. And we're gonna go back and forth. Friend. Do you think you and I can be friends? Well, we've been signing a lot together, so I think we're pretty good friends by now, right? So let's go ahead. Friends. Very good. Now, do you think you're ready for our fifth and final sign? I knew you would be. All right, so this one is something I really like to do in the summer, fall, winter, and even spring. Anytime I get to go outside or somewhere new, I like to explore. Now, do you want to learn the sign for explore? Perfect. Now, I think this sign is pretty cool because when I go exploring, sometimes I might need binoculars or I might even need a telescope depending on how far I'm looking, right? So we are going to be making a telescope of our own. Remember those C's that we learned earlier? We're going to need them again. So we're gonna have our fingers curved this way and both those hands. Now, just like bus, we're going to have our C's separated. You see how there's a space right there? Now I'm gonna turn it this way, and just like binoculars, I'm gonna start to move them, or even a telescope. Explore. Imagine you're looking through and you're exploring. Do you think you can do that with me? Here we go. All right, both our C's, and I'm gonna look. Maybe I can see a lion, or a tiger, or maybe just my brother, right? All right, are we ready for one more time so we can do it together? Okay, let's do some exploring. Take out our telescope and we'll look. What do we see? Oh my goodness. Now, those are all of our signs for today. And I bet you're gonna do a lot of exploring before I see you next time. So I can't wait to see all the signs you've been practicing. Have fun and keep signing.
Hi everyone, it's Brenna. This month I've watched some fantastic movies. Want me to share some of my favorite ones with you guys? Great! Now, my fifth favorite movie I watched this month centers a baby who happens to be a spy. It's Boss Baby. In this film, 7-year-old Tim's life is disrupted when a new baby arrives at his house. When Tim realizes that his new baby brother is a spy, the two of them embark on some crazy adventures. I love this movie because it's funny and exciting, and I love spy movies. Now, do you like baseball? Me too! That's why my fourth favorite movie I watched is Everyone's Hero. In this film, a young boy named Yankee decides to be a hero and goes on a long journey to return Babe Ruth's stolen bat. My favorite part of this film is when Yankee and the thief are fighting over the bat. I think it's so funny.
I stole this thing fair and square.
My dad's gonna get his job back.
Yeah? Well, I want my job back. And I'm a pitcher. I pitch. What does a janitor do? Janet? Oh.
My third favorite movie I watched this month is Book of Life. In this film, Maria, Joaquin, and Manolo have been best friends since they were young. However, both Manolo and Joaquin want to marry Maria. On the Day of the Dead, Manolo is killed and embarks on a journey in the afterlife. I love this movie because it's funny and it's exciting. My second favorite movie that I watched this month centers an extremely smart young girl who is great at spelling. This movie is Akilah and the Bee. In this movie, we follow 11-year-old Akilah, who who overcomes many obstacles and follows her dream of competing in the Scripps National Spelling Bee. My favorite movie I watched this month is Sing. Have you seen the movie Sing? In this film, a struggling theater owner decides to hold a singing competition. We follow a group of talented animals and watch to see how the competition affects their daily lives. My favorite part of the movie is when Rosita dances in the grocery store. I love this movie so much because there's so much singing and dancing, and I love to sing and dance. Do you like to sing and dance too? Let me see some of your favorite dance moves. If you would like to watch some of these fantastic movies, check them out at the Shelby Township Library. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to all of my favorite movies I watched this month. Hope you guys have a great one. Bye!
Hey guys, how are you? My name is Firefighter Steve and I'm with the Shelby Township Fire Department. Today I'm going to be showing you our Alpha. An Alpha is what we call an advanced life support unit. So what you see behind me is basically a rolling mini hospital room, and we staff 2 paramedics on there, and a paramedic is basically someone who is trained in emergency medicine that works the road. Meaning not at the hospital, but we actually take calls in people's homes, in the streets. We're just out everywhere. This is Alpha 1. This is actually staged out of headquarters, our biggest fire station, 1 out of the 5 that we have. So right now we're in the front of the ambulance, also known as the cab is what we call it. And up front you have your driver and your medic. And what you see here is this tablet. This tablet allows us to receive information. So when someone calls 911, the address from the call will populate here. As we're responding, we know how to get there, what's the fastest way, what's the best way to get there. The panel that you see below here, this lights up our entire truck. So one button will light up and that will give you all your red and white lights. The other buttons will light up the night. Here we also operate with a radio, so anytime dispatch calls us, we acknowledge and we respond back on this radio. And that is how we communicate. We don't really use cell phones. It's all a radio. All right, guys, so now we're in the back of the ambulance, also known as the patient compartment. And what you see here is you see a bed that is actually on wheels. And what this does is it allows us to actually take it out of the ambulance, take it into a house, up to a vehicle that was involved in a car accident, and we actually are able to put the patient on the stretcher and then bring them back into the ambulance and then treat them. Here is the jump seat. This is usually where the medic sits, does his reporting, and then the other paramedics kind of work over here. As you can see, I have compartments all around the ambulance and everything is organized based on what we're gonna need. What you see here, this is actually our cardiac monitor. And what this allows us to do is it takes vitals of the patient. So it'll take a heart rate, a blood pressure, and it also lets us actually take a look, almost an inside look of your heart. And we put these little stickers over a patient's chest and on their arms and legs, and then it gives us some squiggly lines. Now to you it might be a squiggly line, but to us we're able to kind of read that and see what's going on with the heart, and if there's a problem we can treat it. Right here is our jump bag. It's this red bag. What we use that for is that we actually take that in the house with us. So it is a mini version of what you see in here, just all in this bag. So we have the ability to hurry up and treat if we have to, and then we have more supplies in the truck if we need it. So now we're gonna open up one of the compartments on the driver's side. And in here, just because we ride an ambulance doesn't mean we can't go into fires anymore. We're still a full-time fire department, but we offer a full-time ambulance service. So when you call 911, whether it be a fire, someone can't swim, a car accident, if someone is stuck up in a tree, many different things can come up. We respond to all that. So we still keep our fire gear with us so that we can respond in the event that we need to. Anytime we have a car accident, we put our fire gear on because that protects us from getting injured or cut or anything like that, because a lot of times we'll actually have to go into the vehicle and help get the patient out. So we want to be protected so that we can keep helping more people. And then over here you see these are our air packs. This allows us to actually breathe clean air when we go into a fire because it's very hot, it's very smoky. And this allows us to perform the work that we need to in those kind of situations. So now we're gonna go to the last compartment I wanna show you over here. Okay, so this is the last compartment that I wanna show you guys. This one kind of has some miscellaneous stuff, but some really cool stuff. Because Shelby has over 115 lakes and ponds inside, we always have to be ready for water emergencies. So because there's 2 guys that ride on this truck, we have 2 water vests, and we have 2 throw ropes in the event if someone's close enough, we can actually throw a rope and help bring them back in. But the one thing I want to talk to you also about is this black box, and this is a really cool black box. This is what we call our RTF box, or our Rescue Task Force box, or there's a couple different names for it. But what you're gonna find in here is actually 2 sets of body armor, okay? And you're probably like, whoa, that's kind of a cop thing or a police officer thing. But today, you just wanna take every precaution necessary. So if the paramedics have to get into a situation where they need the protection, we have that here in our trucks. So as you can see, we have equipment on here. So we have some medical equipment that the person will have on their chest. So because again, we have 2 guys right on the truck, we have 2 sets of gear. So we have 2, these are plate carriers. So 2 plate carriers with some equipment. You're gonna see 2 helmets to also protect their head, okay? So there's 2 full sets with that. And then you're gonna find these orange bags. And these orange bags are basically just more equipment that we can carry in with us if we have to be inside of a building or a location where I can't get back to my truck in time. But this allows me to treat a lot of people in one location when I take this bag with me, because now I'm taking a lot of equipment. Again, everything is dependent on the call. So if this call is very specific, a water call is very specific, a medical emergency is different, a car accident is different. You never know what the next call is going to be. So you always want to be prepared, and you always want to have the equipment readily available. So as you can see, our ambulances are pretty well stocked, pretty much ready to take on any call. I hope you guys enjoyed the demo and have a great day. This is a great career if you guys ever want to get into it, and we enjoyed having you today.
Hello everyone and welcome to Craft Corner. Today we are making something extra special. Everyone is going back to school, right? And I remember when I would go to school, I would take something that I would love there and back, and that's a school bus. Do you ride the school bus? You do? I love seeing school buses. Even though I don't take them anymore, every time they're out on the road, I get really excited. So today, we are going to be making a school bus of our very own. You may see I have a yellow piece of construction paper in front of me. And that leads me to our first step. We're going to make the body of a bus. So we have to start with our yellow construction paper. And this part's pretty easy. All we have to do is cut a little bit of an oval right on top, like we're giving the bus a haircut. So I'm gonna take my handy dandy scissors. And remember, anytime we need to use scissors, all we have to do is ask for some help from a grown-up. So you can stop and start right back up when you have some help. So I'm gonna start on one corner, and then I'm gonna go kind of like a shape of an egg, an oval, all the way around. I'm excited to make our school bus because that means everyone is starting back up at school and we get fresh school supplies and meet some new friends. It's very exciting. So now we have our first part of our bus made, this nice oval. Now it's time for our second step. All right, now it's time for our second step. We just need now a white piece of construction paper because we're going to be making a window. So our window is going to be pretty large. Think about when we have a bus driver. They have to be able to see out the window. So we're going to be making that big windshield today. I'm going to cut a little bit of a square out of here. And before I reach the end of the paper, I'm actually going to cut it off right before, just so that our nice window fits perfectly onto our bus. Because we're going to put it into the center of our bus, just like the window is on the bus. And that looks perfect. Now I just need some glue. And you remember, all we have to do is trace the outline with our glue stick and then just fill it in a little bit. We're going to flip it over and we have to press together. So let's make sure our muscles are ready and it's nice and flat and in the center, and we're gonna push, 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 push. Do you think you can count with me? We'll count to 4 and I think it might be ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's perfect. Let's take a look. And we did it. Now our bus has a lovely big window. Now it's time for our third step. Okay, so now that we have our bus shape cut out, our big beautiful window in front, our bus is missing something very important. Big, wonderful smile, especially for the first day of school. I love when I see people smiling at me. It makes me very happy. I think you have quite a wonderful smile. So we need to make sure our bus has one too. But first, I'm gonna start with the eyes, because our bus needs to be able to see, right? It's driving us to school. So we're going to make our first oval shape right underneath our window. Now I'm going to draw one with a little bit of space in between. Make sure it's about the same size, and then we get to fill it in so that we have these big eyes for our bus. I'm very excited that you're starting school again. It's so much fun getting all of your supplies, meeting your teacher. You're gonna learn a lot of fun stuff this year. Now we're moving on to our second eye. And then all we have to do is add one big, wonderful smile. Okay, now I'm going to start almost to the edge of our eye, and then come down, and then go to about the same spot on the other side, and I'm gonna cross it just like a T, right there. And there we have it. We have our 2 eyes and big, wonderful smile. Now we're on to our 4th step. All right, now it's time for our 4th step, and it's to make some more features for our bus's face. Now I have a pink strip of construction paper and a black strip. The pink one we're going to use to cut out some big rosy cheeks to go right next to that big wonderful smile we made. And then our black one is going to be used for our tires at the bottom of our bus. So I'm going to start with our pink one, and we're going to need 2 cheeks for either side of our bus's face. So I'm gonna fold this in half, because when I then cut our circles out, it'll pop out 2 circles for us. We only have to cut once. Now we're going to make one big lovely circle. And these are going to be our big rosy cheeks to go right by the smile. Now I'm gonna place them right here, and they look perfect. So we get to then go ahead and glue it. So you know what to do. We trace around our circle, and then we get to really fill this one in. And the same with the other side. And now it's my favorite part, which is to use our big, strong muscles and do some pressing. So let's put our first cheek on there, and then our second one right here. Let's make sure they're even, and then we're going to go ahead and put our hands down and press. Now, do you want to count with me too? Let's do 4 again. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It looks perfect. Now it's time for us to cut out our tires so that we can add them to the bus too. I'm going to do the same thing I did for the pink, where I fold it in half so we only have to cut it one time. But this time I'm going to make sure I cut along the edge so I have that straight line, because this time I'm going to cut half an oval. Just like this. And what we have to do now is to flip over our bus, because we are going to be gluing our tires right to the bottom of our bus. So we're going to go ahead and make that nice little line of glue. And I think you might be already preparing to use those muscles, because they're sure gonna come in handy this next part, where I'm gonna put one tire down and the next down too, because our bus can't go anywhere if it doesn't have any tires. Now let's get ready. We're gonna put our fingers right to our little strip of glue. We're going to count together to 4. Let's make sure we're pressing very, very hard. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now let's take a look at this bus that we have now started to create together. Look how it's coming together. We have our cheeks next to our big, beautiful eyes and smile, with the window right above. And let's not forget our 2 little tires here. We only have one more step. So step number 5. Okay, so now we just need to have a bumper to go across our bus and then a license plate right on top. So I'm going to take our black construction paper once again, and this time I'm just going to cut a line straight across it. So using another one of our edges. And it's going to be a very short little line, because like I said, it's just gonna be our bumper that goes across our bus to protect it while it's driving. So then we just have to lay our bumper right across the bottom of our bus. So we need our handy dandy glue here. And we're going to make our nice, wonderful line. And we're going to flip it around. And I think you're already ready to use your big, strong muscles with me. And we're going to press down together. All right, are you ready? So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we got it. Now it's time for our license plate. Our license plate lets everyone know what bus it is, right? It also might have a little message on it too. So I'm just going to cut out our little square here and make an even littler square out of it, because I'm going to write a nice message on our license plate. I'm going to put hello. So everyone has a nice greeting to start their day. All right, now that we have our wonderful license plate, we have to glue it right onto our bumper. So we're gonna flip it over, get out our handy dandy glue stick one last time, and we're going to trace around and then really make sure that we cover it up. And we're gonna place it right in the middle of our bumper. And are you ready for one last press together? Let's get our hands ready and we'll press it down. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. I can't wait to show you. Here we go. Look at this. Our bus has really come together, didn't it? I could not have done it without you. Thank you so much for your help. Awesome work. Now, I can't wait to see how yours turns out. Have a great day.
I like the coming up with ideas. It's really fun, I think, and then I like frosting it because it's like creative liberties. And I tend to do more like art stuff, like theater.
So I like decorating cakes, and I also like decorating cupcakes, but I think like when you're at a party, I prefer like cupcake because you can just like pop it in your mouth, where like cakes you have to. But
Yeah, I agree. And I think maybe a cake might be dangerous because they don't know when I'm done eating it. Like you want a little bit more and you take a bigger slice, you want a little bit more, right? How big do you think is like the perfect slice of cake? Is your whole cake the perfect slice of cake?
Yeah.
Yeah?
In the beginning today, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I didn't know the design or anything.
I don't know you, but I slightly think you're lying to me. There's no way that you didn't know this design before.
I didn't.
You sure?
Sure.
To be honest. Just tell
He's
me.
not lying.
Sure. I trust you. You have a great design. I had so much fun with you today, so make sure you come back next month. You know why? Because it's going to be an extra spooky episode because Halloween is going to be next month. So make sure you come back and join us. So until next time, play fair, play nice, and play together. Bye.